Hello, from Marcia Hensley. I'm a student at Liberty University and I am enrolled in a community class under course instructor Dr. Pringle. I am presenting a project for this class on interpersonal communication called Enlarging My Conversation. I began this project by identifying my overarching goal. The overarching goal in my life that will help me enlarge my conversation is to develop cooperative relationships with my family, friends, and co-workers. I will specifically do this by expanding my listening skills so that I can listen with empathy, to listen without prejudgment, and to use basic listening techniques. There are several goals that I will discuss that will help to influence my interpersonal arena. They include being open and honest in my communication. In other words, I will be honest about what I have to say. To create a team network where everyone feels valued. I will actively listen. That means listen with enthusiasm, give feedback, and nonverbal cues to the speaker. I also will treat others with dignity and respect, and I will have fierce conversation. Stewart's identifies fierce conversations as those conversations that are real and have meaning. From the uniquely personality test, my behavior blend also affects my overarching goal. I am an S-type personality and a CIS behavior blend. Both of these state that I am a compassionate and caring individual who listens well, and also it suggests that I am people-oriented who love being in crowds and who love having conversations with people. From his book, Bridges Not Walls, Stewart suggests that a person's identity originates from the family. In enlarging my conversation, there are positive and negative influences that do affect my conversation. The positive influences are my family, my parents, my father and my mother. My father was a very outgoing and talkative individual who really enjoyed being around other people. My mother was often more quiet and reserved, but she too also loved being around people. I think I have qualities of both, and I love being in crowds, but I love being in smaller crowds and having those conversations. My negative influences are that I am too submissive. I have difficulty saying no, and often I am too agreeable in my conversations and relationships with others. In communication, when a person truly listens to another person, it can decrease barriers in communication and listening. However, we all make mistakes when we communicate and listen, and therefore barriers do exist in our interpersonal context. The barriers in my interpersonal context are, I hear what I want to hear. I tend to filter out everything that I don't agree with. I have biased listening. I see things from my point of view only. I have a win-win attitude. I need to win and to always be right. And I like mindful listening. In other words, I don't always focus on the speaker and their message. Solutions to I hear what I want to hear. I need to commit to an idea or thought instead of being right. In other words, have a cosmopolitan attitude. Be open and honest about my thoughts and feelings. See other people's viewpoints, and to use clarifying techniques such as repeating and rephrasing. Solutions to biased listenings. This would be respect other people's opinions and feelings. Not be judging of others. Try to look at messages as being positive instead of negative. Always try to have a positive attitude when listening to others. Consider ideas and suggestions for others. Again, consider other people's viewpoints and get in touch with our own feelings and try to understand why we feel a certain way when listening to other people's messages. Solutions to mindful listening. This is where I need to have total concentration and focus on what the speaker is saying. To try to not to have distractions and try to focus my attention on them and what they are speaking about. During communication, there are also internal and external barriers that prevent true listening. My internal distractions and barriers to listening include strong emotions. It is important that I listen more to the context of a message instead of the words, and also take notes. There are times when I can become fatigued and become distracted and do not listen well. Taking notes will help with this distraction. My external barriers that affect my listening are loud noises, interruptions, and deadlines. It is important to turn off office equipment such as computers, telephones, fans. It is also important to forward your calls to someone else. It is also important to arrange deadlines so that you don't have to say, oh, excuse me, I have a piece of paperwork that is due to my boss. Can we do this later? Listening is a key in developing and maintaining relationships, making decisions, and solving problems. Actions to improve my interpersonal communication skills include to listen with empathy. I will listen with understanding and acknowledge, meaning that I will try to understand and acknowledge what the speaker is saying. I also will give nonverbal cues, meaning I will give a or okay and nodding of the head. I will make contact with the speaker and also will encourage the speaker to talk more about their topic. Also, it is important to focus, to give my complete attention to what they are saying. As we encourage, we also want to encourage them to be more open about what they're saying and to have reflective skills. In other words, paraphrase what they are saying. To listen without prejudgments, I need to accept people as they are and attempt to understand their feelings, see things from their view. Also, to respect what the speaker has to say, even if I disagree. I need to recognize that I am not always right and that they are not always wrong. Also, to recognize other people's viewpoints. In other words, their point of view is just as important to them as mine is to me. Last, I will use basic listening techniques, such as paraphrasing. In other words, I will reword their statements. I will use rephrasing, repeat what they say. I will reflect. Also, this is restating exactly what they're saying, and ask open-ended questions. Ask questions to encourage the speaker to talk. Effective listening is a process that involves more than hearing. It examines verbal and nonverbal communication. To be effective in listening, individuals must implement proper behavior and attitude, and to develop knowledge in the listening process known as integrative listening model. There are 4 stages of the integrative listening process. You must be prepared to listen, prepare how to listen and analyze what others are saying. You must apply the listening process. This is the ability to comprehend information from others. You must assess the effectiveness of listening performance, assess your own performance in our listening skills, and establish new goals. Always try to establish new goals and new growth in your listening skills. This concludes my presentation on enlarging my conversation. I hope that you have found some value in my presentation, and I hope you have a good and blessed day.